In terms of corruption, Nigeria has a reputation, as you understand very well, for very massive corruption. I also know that the president has...
Around the world, one name has become synonymous with fraud: Nigeria. From fake princes to elaborate online cons, the country has earned a dark reputation as the global capital of scamming. While scammers exist everywhere, no nation has been more branded, more condemned, and more infamous for online fraud than Nigeria. How did a nation of rich culture and potential become a byword for deception? This is the story of how scams turned Nigeria into the world's scam capital. For years, the country has carried this heavyweight title, scam capital of the world. And whether fair or not, the name stuck. It all started way back with the legendary 419 letters. You know the gist. Some Nigerian prince promising you millions if you just send a little advance fee.
Someone messaged me on TikTok the other day, right? And they're like, hey, I want to paint you. I was like, okay, cool, I'll give you $2,000 if you give me $500 back. Okay, no problem. And no big deal. Like, whoa, what? Okay, sweet.
Silly, right? But people fell for it. And once that hustle worked, it spread like wildfire. Before long, scammers were mailing, faxing, and eventually emailing half the planet. But here's the thing, this wasn't just about greed, it was about survival. The economy crashed, jobs disappeared, and a lot of sharp, educated youths had nothing to do. Mix that with weak law enforcement and corruption, and boom, the perfect breeding ground for fraud. Then the internet boom hit in the 2000s. That's when Yahoo became the new hustle. Cafes were filled with young guys pulling scams, spinning fake love stories, cloning websites, and making serious money. And the streets? Instead of condemning them, sometimes it celebrated them. Flashy cars, designer clothes, even music that hyped the lifestyle scammers became icons. The world took notice. News outlets, movies, and memes all pointed at Nigeria. Even when scams came from Russia, India, or the US, they still called it the Nigerian prince. Like it or not, Nigeria became the face of global fraud. Fast forward to today. The game has evolved from Yahoo Plus with its dark rituals, to billion-dollar corporate email hacks, Ponzi schemes, crypto scams, and forex plays. And every time someone gets caught, the headlines scream Nigerian scammer in bold. So now, in the eyes of the world, Nigeria isn't just part of the scam story, it's the main character. A nation of hustle and brilliance, forever shadowed by the reputation of being the scam capital of the world. Let's get to know the format they use in scamming. When you hear Nigerian scam, you probably think of that dusty old email from a so-called Nigerian prince. You know the one: hello dear, I have millions of dollars trapped in an account, and if you help me, I'll share the fortune with you. Sounds ridiculous, right? But here's the crazy part, people actually fell for it. They wired just a small fee to unlock the money, and boom, the scammer vanishes. That's how the legend started. A simple lie, wrapped in desperation and charm, that birthed Nigeria's scam reputation. But that's just level 1. Scammers didn't stop there. They evolved. Next came the romance scams. A lonely man in America or Europe opens his inbox. There's a beautiful young woman, sweet, attentive, everything he's been craving. Weeks pass, and she builds trust. She loves him, she says. Then comes the twist. Her mother's in the hospital, or her rent is due, or she needs just a little help with a visa to finally come visit. The man sends money, then more money. By the time he realizes the photos were stolen and the love was fake, his heart and his bank account are empty. That's the scam in its cruelest form, weaponizing love. But scammers weren't satisfied with breaking hearts. They wanted big money. That's where business email compromise came in. Forget small hustles. This one targets companies. Scammers hack into corporate emails, study how executives talk, then send perfectly timed fake invoices. Millions of dollars wired straight into their pockets. This scam is so sharp, it's cost global businesses billions. It's no longer just Yahoo boys in cybercafes. It's international crime syndicates running professional operations. Then came the flashy side hustles, Ponzi schemes and fake investments. Crypto, forex, oil deals, you name it. The scammer promises insane returns, like 200% in a week. Early investors actually get paid, using the money from new victims. Word spreads, more people rush in, and when the pot is fat enough, boom, the whole thing collapses, the scammer disappears, and thousands are left crying. And if you think that's wild, wait till you hear the whispers of Yahoo Plus. This is where scams cross into the dark. Street rumors say some scammers turn to rituals, charms, even human sacrifices, all to strengthen their hustle. People say it makes victims more gullible, more willing to part with their cash. It's fraud, dipped in blood and fear. It doesn't stop there. Job and lottery scams play on pure hope. Fake emails offering jobs abroad, fake visas, fake scholarships, or sudden lottery wins. But there's always a catch. You have to pay a processing fee. The victim thinks they are investing in their future, but they are really feeding a scammer who never planned to deliver anything. At its core, Nigerian scams look like hope. Hope for love, hope for riches, hope for escape, hope for opportunity. That's what makes them so dangerous. They disguise themselves as blessings, but underneath, it's pure theft. And every flashy car, every gold chain, every champagne bottle popped by a scammer is soaked in the tears of someone who believed a lie. That's what Nigerian scams look like: dirty, clever, aggressive, and devastating. Nigeria didn't just randomly become the face of global scams. Nah, it was the perfect storm, every bad element mixing together to create a monster. First, the economy crashed. The oil boom dried up, jobs vanished. And suddenly you had millions of sharp, educated youths with nothing to do. Hungry, frustrated, and desperate. And when hunger meets intelligence, that's a dangerous combo. Then you add in weak systems. Law enforcement, underfunded. Courts, corrupt. Politicians, too busy stealing to care. So scammers could move freely. Even when caught, a little bribe could wipe the slate clean. It was like planting fraud in fertile soil. Of course it was going to grow. Now throw in the internet. Young guys learning fast, and the world still naive about online fraud. Boom, Yahoo was born. Suddenly, a kid in Lagos could scam a businessman in London with just an email. The world had never seen that kind of reach before. But here's the killer blow. Culture started celebrating it. Instead of shame, scammers became legends. Flashy cars, popping bottles in clubs, showing off designer drip. Musicians started dropping bars, praising Yahoo boys. The streets saw fraud not as crime, but as hustle. Add it all up, desperation, broken systems, new technology, and a culture that glamorized the hustle, and you get the perfect storm. Nigeria became ground zero for scams, not because Nigerians are naturally criminals, but because the environment pushed a generation into it. And the world couldn't ignore the noise. That's why when you hear scam, the first country that comes to mind is Nigeria. It wasn't chance. It was the perfect storm. Industry of scamming in Nigeria. What started as a few 419 letters turned into a full-blown industry of scamming, an underground economy where young people became the entrepreneurs of fraud. Back in the early 2000s, you'd see rows of young guys, eyes glued to screens, fingers flying. Some were writing fake love stories, trapping victims in romance scams. Others were setting up fake business emails, trying to catch companies slipping. Every corner of the cafe had a different hustle. And the thing about Nigerians, they are creative. That creativity that should have been in tech, arts, or startups got poured into scams. One guy would fake lottery wins, another would sell fake jobs abroad, another would spin Ponzi schemes. Each scammer trying to outsmart the other with new tricks. It became competitive, a twisted kind of innovation lab. Soon, this industry had levels. At the bottom, the small Yahoo boys hustling for pocket money. Above them, the Yahoo big boys pulling in thousands and buying cars. And at the top, the elite scammers running international fraud rings worth millions. Everyone had a role. The guy who crafts convincing emails, the one who handles fake documents, the one who smooth talks victims on the phone. It was teamwork, like a company. Only difference, the business was crime. And the wildest part? Many young Nigerians saw it as a career path. If the banks won't hire you, if the government offers nothing, then Yahoo became the alternative. Instead of resumes, they built scams. Instead of offices, they worked out of cafes, apartments, and nightclubs. That's how fraud turned into an industry, fueled by desperation, powered by youthful creativity, and glamorized until it looked like success. An entire underground economy, where scams weren't just tricks, but products. Not just hustles, but brands. In the end, it wasn't just individual scamming. It was a whole generation creating an industry of fraud. At the end of the day, scamming built a name so loud it went beyond the fraudsters themselves. The crazy part? That name stuck to every Nigerian, whether they were part of it or not. Imagine traveling abroad, saying you're from Nigeria, and before you even open your mouth, people already look at you sideways, like you're hiding a fake lottery ticket in your back pocket. That's the weight the scam world dropped on innocent shoulders. And that's where it hits hardest. The students grinding to pay fees, the workers hustling 2 jobs, the legit entrepreneurs trying to build something real. They carry the same passport, but they also carry the suspicion. Scamming made Nigeria famous, but not in a good way. And the truth? That label doesn't just stick to scammers, it sticks to every Nigerian. Abroad, in school, at work, you get judged before you even open your mouth. So I'll ask you this, have you felt that weight? Have you ever been treated differently just because you're Nigerian? Tell me your story in the comments, no filter. And hey, if this hit you, hit that like button so more people see it. Subscribe, because we've got way more stories like this coming.